I am wonderful. How about you?
I'm good. Can't complain too much.
We had a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, I had to think about what we did this weekend.
What did we do?
Yeah, it was a nice weekend. Yeah, we had a little girls' night, and we were supposed to decorate ornaments, but everyone kind of ran late, so we just chit chatted.
hmm
It was lovely.
It was. It was shockingly delightful.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, everybody, welcome to Shockingly Delightful, and thank you for being here. And please share this out, like, and subscribe.
And comment and let us know you're here because the streaming platforms don't really show names every time. I think most, actually, you know what? I think they do now because we can't stream into groups anymore. So I think now that we're streaming to pages,
Mhm.
we should be able to see your name. So comment, let us know that you're here, say hi, where you're coming from, what are you most excited about for the holidays, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So today's topic, I had so much fun coming up with a name for this. Well, I guess we both did together. Um,
You mean sometimes.
and we touched on it last week on both Shockingly Delightful and Moment of Presence, so that was cool. We're going to be talking about make your list, but don't check it twice. Obviously, we know Santa is I've been naughty. Why
You
are you
should check
covering the bottom?
because.
Oh, all right. Well, no
Yeah,
one said this was a kid's show.
that's
Um, I don't remember what I was saying,
you
but
were
we
saying
all know
making the
Santa makes a list, checks it twice. He's going to find out if you're naughty or nice. So, for him and as his operations person,
yes.
I've got to keep that going the whole month. It's killing me.
I love it.
As his operations person, I can tell you that he does, in fact, check the list twice. He actually does it even more than that, but it didn't rhyme in the song, so that's why we went with twice.
Yeah, yeah. But
Mhm.
as his ops person, does he actually have to check it twice, or is that just his
It's good
OC?
measure, and if I'm being really honest, some of the elves, some of the higher up elves do take a look as well because it's always better to have more than one set of eyes on something. You want to
Yes.
be sure, especially for something like this, you want to make sure the right kids are getting toys. So, I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but some of the elves do take a look again just for quality control.
And it's also, I would think, uh, good to have a different perspective because
Definitely.
what one person thinks is bad
Yeah.
could just be miscommunication or misinterpreted.
Exactly, exactly. And Santa, he doesn't even know what the word ego is. He's very humble. He's such a great heart. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Okay. Totally. Very cool.
Mhm.
So from my perspective on this,
Mhm.
uh, there's that way of looking at it as far as make your like daily list. What do I have to do? What do I have to do before Christmas? Uh, who's on my Christmas list? What gifts? All that. So there's that part of it.
Mhm.
But then there's also, from my perspective, like the law of attraction
Well,
aspect
I
of it.
think that's what we really were talking about in
Right.
making this is when you're asking God, the universe, whoever your, as you call
Flavor
it,
of the
flavor of
divine.
the divine is, as you're asking for things out of life, you shouldn't be checking twice. It's
Right.
a set it and forget it methodology. Why don't you
Yep.
school us on that a little bit? You're the expert here.
It is my favorite thing to talk about. So the whole point is that you, in law of attraction 101,
Mhm.
just to go through it really quick, as you know, there's 4 steps. And so step 1 is the asking. If life is not a shit show, you would have nothing to ask for. If life was perfect, there would be nothing to ask for because you
Shit
would
show's
already
a
have
little heavy. Maybe we say if life was perfect, we wouldn't know the alternative, and so we wouldn't know what to ask for. You're sounding a little bit like me with that language, but
thank
anyway.
you. So if life didn't have its ups, we wouldn't know to ask for it. I mean, if it didn't have its downs, we wouldn't know to ask for its ups.
Right.
So therefore, step 1 is instead of being bogged down by the down part of it, look at what do I actually want?
Mm-hmm.
And then ask for that, right? Put it on your list. And then universe, flavor of the divine, source, God, gets your list and goes, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle wants this.
Mm-hmm.
My job and my only job at that point is then to be in the right frequency, to be in the right energy,
Mm-hmm.
to allow that, what I asked for, to come to me so that I match the frequency. You can't ask for a really, really good Christmas day if you're in a really bad mood. You actually have to match the energy so
I
that,
mean, you can ask for it, but you're not in really the right energy for it.
right, you can ask for it, but if you're not in the right energy to receive it and you walk in and you're like, I'm here, and you're like, buh. Well, that energy is going to then circulate around the room and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to bring everyone else down as well. So, our job in step 3 is to be trusting and have faith
Mm-hmm.
that we already put it out there.
Yeah.
It's already there. God, divine knows what we want. We just have to like go, okay. Now, this doesn't mean sit back and like, kick your feet up and do nothing. It means be in the energy of what you want. What you
Yeah.
focus on grows. What you put out, you attract. So you have to then, if you want to have fun, if you want places to go and be invited, well, then you have to make yourself known that you're available, like that you would want to be invited.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to line up and match what it is that we want. That's our only job.
Mm-hmm.
And then step 4, because we're going to get it. And then step 4 is, well, in between, I'm going to say 3 and a 3.5. I'm going to say 3.5 is not to take score. Don't like look at your watch and be like, half past a freckle. My list is late. Like all that stuff that I wanted is not here. So what's going on? And then start tapping your foot and being really impatient and judgy,
Mm-hmm.
because all that does is you're putting up resistance and you're pushing it farther away. So then that's when you just need to kind of like, okay, I'm lined up with it. And then when things potentially other things don't go your way, stay in alignment. And if you don't, be okay with that and go, okay, cool. I now know more things that I want. And when you're okay with it and you're like, okay, cool, well, that stinks. This is what I actually want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm grateful that I have the opportunity now to have this lesson. Let me ask. And then you ask more and then you go through the step again. It's not getting mad. It's not getting blameful of what you don't have. It's just being like, okay, this is where I'm at. Now let's move forward.
And that concludes today's episode. See you next week, everybody. I'm just kidding.
And that was a very long winded answer, but
I'm pretty sure that just was like 8 minutes long.
I mean, it's 12.
It was very thorough, though. If anyone wants a crash course in manifestation, there you
and
go.
and it's 12:12. So evidently, there I was meant to say
There
all
you
of
go.
that.
I mean, really, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning.
Let me write down this.
Something about our episodes that just make me yawn. Really, what we're talking about in this is not counting your eggs before they hatch. I mean, that's really what this topic is about. You know.
Counting on some of them that they'll hatch, but you don't have to count.
Well, but it's going back and going, oh, which ones have hatched? Oh, okay, none of them yet. Which ones have hatched? Oh, none of them yet. Oh, wait, what was that? What are all those things that I want? Like the most successful, the reason why vision boards work is because you kind of like subconsciously look at them in a way. Like no one is really, if you're sitting down and analyzing a vision board every single day and taking yourself through every single picture, it's not going to work.
Right.
The point of a vision board is you put it together, you have a great time, you're feeling the feelings while you're putting it together, and then you put it somewhere and you walk by it every day. or it's the screensaver for your computer, or your wallpaper on your phone. And it's meant to be taken in subconsciously.
Right.
So then that's how things come true from your vision board. It's all about setting it and
And
forgetting it.
forgetting it.
And it's
And
actually, oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, and you can dive into it and be like, oh, that water is going to be so warm when I dive into the Mediterranean Sea. I cannot wait. I'm not going, hello, it's not here yet. I'm just saying, oh, it's going to feel so good.
And I think that's a good distinction between personality types, because like for you, that is something I don't know if I would say easy, though maybe easy is a fitting word, where for me, I have to set it and forget it because I overanalyze everything too much. So I'm going to get in my head about how is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? How can it possibly work out that way? The list goes on, and that's the antithesis of what we're talking about.
Right. Because again, our job is not to figure out the how. Our
Mm-hmm.
job is just to line up with it
Right.
and allow the, God
Mm-hmm.
source to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And or it Trinity. I just like to say Trinity now. Um,
From the Matrix?
well, interesting that Trinity is in the Matrix and Trinity is the Trinity. God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. Never thought about it that way, did you? So I just like to call it Trinity because, I think it's cool. So anyway, the
Hmm.
other thing is how Trinity decides to then
Can you
give you.
just say God? I really don't like this Trinity thing. It's really bothering me.
Okay.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
so
A universe or God, Trinity. I just keep seeing Trinity from the Matrix, and it's really disturbing me. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with her, but it's like so out of place for the conversation in a way that it's really throwing me off.
I love your snowmen on your
Thank you so
sweatshirt.
much. They're little squirrels and snowmen,
They're
and then
adorable.
Christmas lights.
They're adorable. And the big Mickey ears too.
Well, careful. We don't want Disney to come after us.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, um, so the other thing that we have to be careful of is when you do put your list out there,
Mm-hmm.
it is not in your control
Mm-hmm.
on how that is delivered.
Yeah.
So I want a new boss doesn't necessarily mean that God or the universe is going to make sure that, God forbid, something bad happens to your boss and you get a new boss, or that your boss quits.
Mm-hmm.
It could mean that
You get
you
fired.
get fired or get another job or quit,
Right.
and then you get a boss that resonates with you and that you enjoy working with. And
Mm-hmm.
or I want to be part of a team that is just fun and cool and relaxed. And well, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a change in the team that you're currently in. It could mean that you are going to change teams, maybe
Mm-hmm.
get promoted or move to a different uh, department
Mm-hmm.
or a different job
Yeah.
or start playing sports. I don't know. But the point is that we don't know how it's going to be delivered. We just have to have the faith and the trust and that it will be delivered.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, we can't decide the how
Yeah.
or the
Um,
when.
I had a note for this episode to remind me to tell a story. It's one of my favorite examples of this. When I was a kid, so it's so funny because nowadays kids only know they only know about like Fire Stick, or what's that other one? Not um the something box.
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever, the smart they kids today only know about smart devices and cable boxes and things like that. But when I was a kid, there like that was just starting to happen. When I was a kid, was
Right.
we were just starting to get like cable boxes. And so when I was a kid, it was just everyone had basic TV, and then then cable boxes became a thing. And so we got a cable box for our family room, and then like you guys, my parents got a cable box, and then my brother got a cable box,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still only had the basic TV. And so I was saying for Christmas, I really, really wanted my own cable box so I could watch, cable TV. And somebody uh, was like, Santa's not going to bring that to you. Santa can't bring you something like that. That affects our cable bill. Like, Santa doesn't do things like that. Santa makes toys. Santa's not going to bring something like that. And I was like, I kept saying I really wanted Santa to bring me a cable box. Because when we were a kid, also, like, Santa did primarily the gifts in our household.
Right.
And so you were adamant, no, Santa does not do that. And I wouldn't let it go, but I also took to heart that, oh, wow, Santa's not going to do that. All right. I finally got it. And I'm like, all right, Santa doesn't do that. I guess I'll have to wait until my birthday next year or something because Santa's not going to bring it. So I let it go. And I just knew, I was like, okay, I really want this, but I guess Santa's not going to bring it. And then I wake up Christmas morning. And I'm pretty sure we went through all the presents, nothing yet. And I was still hopeful when I woke up Christmas morning, but I was like, okay, I didn't get it. That's cool. I got all these other great things. I'm so excited. And then I'm pretty sure I lifted something up and you guys had Santa had hidden it. Hidden it? Had hid yeah, hidden it. Had it hidden. And I lifted up whatever was covered by maybe a blanket or behind a pillow or something. And lo and behold, I got my cable box. But I had to let it go, and it appeared.
You had to believe before
Mm-hmm.
you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And just so everyone knows, we didn't torture her. She did have a VCR in her room. She
Well,
would,
basic cable, you had really. I'm thinking about it now. Why was I wanting a cable box so badly? I had channels. I had
because you
Disney
wanted
Channel,
Disney
Nickelodeon.
and Nickelodeon. That wasn't on regular TV.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it
That was all
definitely was.
cable.
Not when I was a young kid. I
Yes.
remember watching Nick at Night way before I got a cable TV because Zorro would be on in the middle of the night, and I'd wake up and be like, "What is this programming?"
I don't know then. Maybe because you wanted the DVR thing so you could pause it and record it. Maybe that's
Probably.
what it was.
That's probably what
Maybe
it was.
that's what it
That
was.
sounds more like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
definitely sounds like you.
Well,
Um,
oh, thanks for the eye roll that you just did. I know my truth.
that happened to me one year with skates.
Skates?
I
Like
wanted
roller
roller
skates or
skates,
ice
like
skates?
good old fashioned
Roller skates.
4-wheel, yeah, 2-and-2 roller skates, and I wanted them white with red wheels. And I asked Santa, and my mom was like, you're too old for Santa. Santa doesn't bring. No, it's not gonna happen. Whatever. And I was like, I really want.
That's a lie. Santa still visits our home.
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, we have. Uh, but yeah, and then I ruined it.
what?
I ruined it. I got the keys to the car. I knew that they had gone shopping.
You're one of those.
That stopped me from ever looking again
Why did you have the keys? Why were you going in the car in the first place then?
because me and
You
my
know how I know
me
some
and my
BS story? No, hold
stepbrother,
on. You know how I know some BS story is coming? Is you just really slyly did an eye roll before you told the story.
me and my stepbrother at the time, not real
Mm-hmm.
stepbrother, but whatever. It was a very complicated situation. We really wanted the skates, and we weren't sure we were getting them, and we knew that they had gone to the mall, and we really wanted to know, and so we got his dad's keys, and we popped open the trunk, and there sat both pairs of skates. And Christmas morning was wonderful and amazing, but I never looked again because I lost that, like, you know, that giddy feeling in the morning. And then I had to pretend that it was I was surprised. Oh my!
Ugh,
And
I gotta
get
say
all
that's
excited.
that's a terrible feeling. I don't like
It
that feeling.
is. It
Yeah.
is. And so imagine doing that for those that believe in God. Imagine doing that to God. Judging him on where's my stuff. That's rude. That's just rude.
So is the movie Dude, Where's My Car actually some deep theological film?
It might be. I don't know. I have to
I've never
rewatch it.
actually seen it, so hopefully that's not. I don't know really what the premise of the movie is.
Dude,
So
where's my car?
anyway, the other thing this makes me think of in terms of like counting your eggs before they hatch. That's the phrase, right?
Hmm.
Um, so I the
Well, it's
last
counting your chickens before they hatch, actually.
counting your chickens before they hatch. All right.
And
Um,
since we have chickens, we
I
should
think I'm combining don't put all your eggs in one basket and counting your chickens before they hatch.
yes.
Yeah, okay. Which makes sense because if you don't know about chickens and how eggs work, actually, let's do this as a segue. If you don't know how chickens and eggs work, chickens lay eggs regardless of if there's a rooster present, regardless if they're going to have the potential to become chicks or not. Chickens will still lay eggs. It's not they don't have to be bred to lay an egg. They do that naturally. It's a natural bodily process for them. However, if a rooster is involved and in the picture, all eggs have the capacity once the hen has been mated with, all of the eggs have the capacity to become a chick. However, if you have ever hatched eggs before, as we have learned many times, you could have a clutch, a group of eggs, of let's say 10, and only 4 of them actually hatch. Whether it's because they are developing at different rates, or some of the eggs it just didn't work out. Maybe there was all of the eggs have a coating on the outside to protect them. Maybe this one had a little bit of it came off, and so the egg
Mhm.
wasn't the right environment. There's a lot of different factors that can happen, but just
My favorite one that you did not mention, if the chicken gets really mad at the rooster, she
she
can
can, yes, she can eject the
un
she can eject the stuff from her body, which is really interesting. So they have
yeah,
little different little pockets inside their body that they store genetic material until it's ready to be used. Um, didn't think I'd be going into this on this topic, but that's okay. So anyway, you could have a clutch of
yeah,
10 eggs, but you can't count them yet because you don't know how many hens are actually gonna or chicks are gonna come from that. Could be 4, could be 8, could be none. You don't know. So don't. That's where we get the phrase "don't count your chickens before they hatch."
and to go even deeper, don't count your hens before
Oh yeah,
they're, like, 3
yeah.
months old.
That should be another phrase. We'll come up with what it means exactly. But yeah, because yeah, you
Yeah,
really can't tell. There's really no like verifiable way to know what you're getting with a chick.
yeah,
And if you've ever bought chicks online or eggs, they try to tell you. They've been wrong every single time. We once bought. We talked about the Ayam Samani chickens, which are all black. We were supposed to get 3 hens and a rooster. We ended up with 3 roosters and a hen.
yeah,
So
that happened.
yeah,
That was real.
yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying though. Um, Another reason that where don't count your chickens before they hatch is I have been dealing with intrusive thoughts the last few months. And what's so funny is I keep finding myself going, oh, they're gone. And then they come back in because I just checked to see if they're gone mentally. It's kind of like, remember that the game growing up where the game was not to think of the game. But then if you think about not thinking about the game, you're thinking about the game. And so you've lost the game.
Yeah,
Kind of the same principle. It's kind of like the same thing. If you're constantly checking, oh, did I get that thing yet? You're constantly putting yourself back in that state of, I don't have that thing. Or if there's something you're trying to work through, equally, if you're checking in constantly, oh, am I over that thing? You're just pushing the bruise. You're
right.
just pouring alcohol in the wound.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's like,
it goes both ways, is the point I'm making there.
yeah, and then I mean another analogy, same thing, is to, you're planting seeds and then you keep digging up the seeds going, "Where's my flower? What
Where's the
why haven't
sprout?
crowded.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Hmm.
And don't talk meanly to your plants because it actually matters. Talk
Oh yeah.
sweetly, and they
There's
will.
actually some really interesting science about that, but that's not today's topic. So
Yeah,
maybe I'll
that's
put
not
that on
today's
the list for
topic.
later.
But yeah, so the whole thing is intention as well. So
Oh,
make
I'm
your
so glad
list.
you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, make your list. Why is it on your list?
Hmm.
Is it on your list out of fear or is it on your list out of love? Because if it's on your love, oh my goodness, if it's on your list out of love,
Hmm.
you're more likely to get it
Hmm.
because that is the frequency, hopefully, that you're matching
Well, it's also the frequency in which things come
come
into
to
your
you.
life, right?
Well, I mean, fear, you could actually not have it on your list, but be fearful of something, and then you're drawing in more of what to be fearful of.
Yeah, but that's a it's not an entirely factual. It's not as easy as that. It takes a lot longer and a lot more repetitions of thinking of negative things for them to actually
Yeah.
come into fruition. And not only that, but that's a dangerous rabbit hole to go down, especially if you're someone that deals with intrusive thoughts or OCD and things like
Yeah.
that, because it really doesn't work that way. There's a lot of other things going on where it really doesn't work that way. I mean, unless you're literally sitting in a meditation chair constantly visualizing negative things, then yeah, I suppose it can be that easy, but no one's doing that.
Well, and the other part of that is again perspective. Who's How do you know it's negative? What, like the example we gave about having a new boss but you got fired. So you get fired and you're ticked off cuz you got fired, but actually you're getting a better job with a better boss and probably getting paid more, and so you actually just got everything you wanted, but you were really mad in the beginning when it happened because you thought it was bad, but it
Hmm.
was really good.
Hmm.
So it's all about that good bad we'll see kind of mentality of I don't know, but this is happening and I'm just going to maintain that I'm on this path. This is what I want, and I just am going to trust that that's what I'm going to receive. It's challenging. It's not always easy to maintain that level of trust and faith. You got to believe, right? You got to believe before you see it. It's the same premise.
Hmm.
It's
It's like
exactly the
it's
same.
the concept of Jesus take the wheel.
Yes,
Great
absolutely.
Carrie Underwood song, by the way.
Wonderful. And also going back to Santa, believing is seeing. And that's honestly what some parents will say to their kids. When you believe, it happens.
Yeah,
Because if you don't believe, it's not going to happen. I mean, it may anyway, but
it's law of attraction
I was talking about
is
Santa, but
law of I well, but I mean it's the same thing, is it not? Law of attraction is one of those things that you really have to pick a lane of your belief,
yeah.
because trying to interweave different lanes of and trying to conceptualize it as a whole, it's sort of one of those things, like there's a great series of books called The Law of One. It's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed them. But they talk about how there are just some things that human beings are not meant to conceptualize. Our brains physically cannot conceptualize certain things. Like we literally cannot conceptualize how everything around us came to be. Like the true science of it, our brains are
Mhm.
just not meant to comprehend. We could probably argue that the speed of light is one of them also, because like the mathematics that has to go into that is just our brains just you know um and I think there's certain levels of understanding the law of attraction that we just aren't meant to understand. Like we know big parts of it, we understand
Mhm.
the basic logistics of it, but then at the same time there may be a good or bad curveball that comes in that you're like, well, hold on, wait, How does
What was
that
that?
connect to the law of attraction? Where did that come from? And so
Right.
then it started once like that's the rabbit hole that I find myself going down often, and that's super analytical mind, intrusive thought mind, OCD mind, so it
Mhm.
makes sense. But that's where I find law of attraction can get, oh, we just scratched our head in the same place. That's where I find law of attraction can get real wonky is when you start trying to dive too into it, which really goes against law of attraction anyway.
Right.
But when you start getting into the nitty gritty of it, that's where it really like my mind just goes, I don't know, man.
Well, speaking of lists, and we've both had this experience, it's the same thing with write down your gratitudes every day.
Mm-hmm.
And some people dive into it very deeply and they write their list and they can feel the gratitude. They can remember whatever it is that they received or
Mm-hmm.
experienced. They can get themselves there. I
Yeah.
have a I can do that like in a split second. I can be in the Keys on the boat and the sun shining and your father's fishing. Like I can see it, I can feel it, I can smell the salt air. Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
Not everyone mind works that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're writing your list of gratitude, it can become very chorish, just like, oh God, let me just get this done and let me write down the 10 things I'm
Well,
thankful
like we've
for.
talked about for some people, including myself, depending on what I'm writing down, it can also be very anxiety inducing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I like to say, and I'll tell my clients, like, if you don't like the word grateful, then write down the things that you love.
Mm-hmm. I
You
love,
know?
yeah, I really resonate with love. And typically, when that is a clue that one of your core values is probably love.
Right. And so when you exchange out the word gratitude for love and you write down all the things you love, then it opens up a whole other emotional state for you.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're not doing it just as a chore. Now you're really feeling it and you're getting into that energy and that
Yeah.
frequency. And then guess what? More comes for you to love. And
Yep.
so that's why, even with your, the list of things you want, like,
Mm-hmm.
for Christmas or whatever, do you want it out of fear? Are you wanting something because of fear or because of a negative reason, or do you want it out of a positive?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have to, if you don't know, how many times has someone say, well, what do you want? And you're like, well, I don't know what I want, right? I don't know what I want to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the best route is. Well, then you have to go general and you have to think of, well, how do I want to feel? Right? A month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, how do I want to feel?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to feel like I feel at the moment. Like, if you're having a tough time, I
Yeah.
know I don't want to feel crappy. So I know, okay, so then what's the opposite of crappy for you? And so you look at it that way. I was just talking to a client about that this morning. Two sides of the stick. If you feel crappy, you feel like you don't like this, okay, but how do you want to feel? You may not know how to get there, but I want to feel happy. I want to feel joy. I want to feel loved. I want to feel appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And when you
Take
put,
it lower on the totem pole if you have to. I want to feel okay. I want to feel fine. I want to feel content. I
ow,
want to feel satisfied. I want to feel relaxed. I want to feel peaceful.
go up your emotional guidance scale.
Yeah.
That's why we have it. You just slowly, and anybody that wants the emotional guidance scale, I've replicated it. We've added a couple things to it that we thought was very
We made our own
helpful,
version of it.
but it is from Abraham Hicks. I'm going to absolutely give him credit.
Inspired by Abraham Hicks.
Inspired by Abraham Hicks. But
You know what? I think that might be part of what we're launching on Thursday on Moment of Presence.
yeah, actually. But we'll
We're
give you
launching
a,
a special thing on Thursday, so watch on Thursday.
yeah, yeah. Um, and if you're interested today, just put launch. If you don't even care and you're just interested, just it'll be a mystery and you'll see what you get. But
Mm-hmm.
with the emotional guidance scale, and I mean, it makes sense. You can't go from depression and feeling like, or being so scared or so upset or so depressed that you're in the fetal position, to feeling blissful.
You know what? I gotta argue that because that's not necessarily. I think it depends on because like if I have a somewhat of like a not panic attack, but like if I have like an emotional breakdown where I'm sobbing, I feel fantastic afterwards.
Well, yes,
But that's
there
probably
was a
more of a
huge
release of
release.
emotions. Yes, that's probably more a cathartic. I don't
Cathartic.
know why words are escaping me today.
Cathartic. It
Thank you.
it's like an atom bomb took you
Yeah,
from
that
the
might be a me thing though.
the bottom all the way to the top, and you just like exploded up to the top. So that's fantastic. And
Yeah,
that's wonderful that you know. And that's, people are always, how many times have we heard someone say, I just want to feel in control. I just want to feel in
yeah,
control.
yeah.
And honestly, you have a hell of a lot more control than you realize. You just don't have control over other people. You have control over yourself and your emotions, but you can't control other people.
I would change other people to you don't have control of anything external from you.
Right. Well, very true.
I
Yeah.
mean, if we're being honest, we don't even have. I mean, we don't have control of a lot of our body either. We really the only thing that we have control of is our mind because it's not like we can just think, oh, I want my heart to stop, or I want my stomach to just stop digesting, or I want my stomach to stop producing
Right.
acid, or I want my toe to fall off. We really don't even have control over our physical body in a lot of ways.
No, because it
We
breeds.
have control over maybe what we're ingesting or
Yeah.
the way that we're acting. So like
And
we're
our emotions.
our
Right.
emotions.
So,
So it's really all mental. The only thing we have control of is what's in here, which is a giant fatty deposit that's got a bunch of neurons and electrodes attached to it.
well, I'm going to argue with you and say it's actually what's here that tells what's here. I think I say it's the heart that talks to the brain. Now, granted,
Really, if we're being scientific, it's the stomach that talks to the brain that talks to the heart. But
well, that is true, and the stomach is a royal pain in the butt,
I
as
will
we've
tell you though,
learned.
the heart does have neurons in it or whatever, just like the stomach does.
Yeah,
Mhm.
of course. Yeah. I mean, it's all connected, just like we're all connected. So if someone we care about is not feeling good, that's why we pick up on it and we feel it, because we're connected. The challenge is what we have control over, which is whether we absorb it and allow their not feeling good to affect our feeling good.
Yeah.
We can still feel good and have compassion and empathy for the other person
Mhm.
and sit with them and be with them and be empathetic.
Mhm.
Uh, but we don't have to absorb it and dive into the depression with them.
You really
Again, you know,
just a way to feed each other. That's really not healthy.
no,
Pretty
that's
sure
a
that's called codependency.
and trauma bond in some cases
Yeah.
too. So you don't want that, because then that breeds attachments. And then when you get attachments, then you have to have that taken care of. And
Hmm.
that's a whole other shockingly delightful episode.
I should write that down.
We should have Steve come on for that one. He can really talk about attachments. Uh, but, you know, emotions are very, very powerful. They give us strength, and they also um, make us weak. And
And
we
I
need to,
also hold on. I also want to add not only that, but emotions can feel very real and yet come from an entirely physiological origin.
yeah.
And that's something that I've experienced over the last month or so in a really profound way that was really surprising because emotions are so good at feeling real.
Mhm.
Emotions are so good at convincing you that what you're feeling is real
Yeah.
and it's not. And so much of what goes on in here is related to our physical shell to a wild degree. Like I thought I understood it,
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. Like, I thought it would be so obvious, but it's not.
What's the one thing that's helped you the most
It with what?
with that in particular, with your emotions and knowing, is it real? Is it yours? Like, what have you used to help you?
So the only thing that's working for me that I found thus far is it's actually a technique that a someone very close to me, they went to anyway, they there's a terminology like a deceptive thought. We can
Mm-hmm.
change out deceptive or intrusive, whichever one you want. But as soon as as soon because I can feel when like a thought and something that's going to cause an emotion, I can feel it before the thought actually arrives in my mind. And so as soon as I feel it before the thought even comes up, intrusive thought, deceptive thought, whatever the phrase is you want to use, because the key with it is not to elicit more emotion in
Mm-hmm.
response to whatever it is that's popping into your head or the emotion that's coming up. And I'll do it if it's a feeling or a thought, but if the reaction to it is, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, no, 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 especially with like intrusive thoughts, you're feeding it even more. And so the idea is to dismiss it very gently, very quietly, as if it's just like that classic meditation technique of it's a cloud floating by. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, being able to say that, just that quick little dismissive thought or deceptive thought, intrusive thought, whatever, it reminds my mind that it's not actually reality, whether it's the feeling or the thought. And so
Mm-hmm.
that quick little saying, it allows me to stay neutral but dismiss it. I don't have time for you today. That you're not welcome here. Get the hell out of here. Because any sort of anything else is going to have emotion attached to it.
Yeah.
And if you can get to, I haven't gotten there, but apparently people can get to a place where they don't even say anything in response to it and they just drop it. That is some freaking, that is some like, I don't even know, ninja stuff. God bless those people because it ain't me.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because you're acknowledging it but not acknowledging it. Like, you're acknowledging it enough to go, like, I see you, but you're not welcome. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Mm-hmm.
because it's very I don't want to say powerful, because I've learned the difference between being powerful and being
Mm-hmm.
strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very strong stance
Mm-hmm.
to
Well,
be
and
able to do that.
yeah, and it's, I don't know why this is where this conversation has gone today, but if anyone else has intrusive thoughts, um,
Make a list. No, I'm kidding.
no, don't do
Don't make a list.
that. I don't recommend that. No, but it's funny because something that Abraham Hicks talks about a lot is like not labeling things, because
Mhm.
once you have a label, it's more you believe in it more. It's more real that way. You're really subscribing to that idea. But with something like intrusive thoughts, it actually, by knowing and calling it an intrusive thought, it creates a power dynamic of, well, I'm not going to let this win.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to let this take over. It's not
Right.
me. And so this is where I think like the ego is a positive thing, because we always say, oh, drop the ego at the door and you shouldn't have ego and blah blah blah. But ego is required for us to live. Ego is
Mhm.
required for us to be human. And so I also like to look at where can we use ego strategically. And for me, being like, oh, I don't, this thing's not going to win me over. Like, I'm the one in charge.
Right.
I'm utilizing my ego in a positive way.
And that goes back to, are you doing it from love or are you doing it from fear?
Right.
So if it's
Right.
your ego and you're, using your ego
Mm-hmm.
in a space of strength and love,
Mm-hmm.
then it works for you.
Yeah.
But then there's that other ego that's like, I don't care. I just want to be happy
Yeah.
and I'm right
Yeah.
and I don't care what you want.
Well, here's another example. Let's say there's something that you really, really want. If you could come at it, you could utilize your ego in two different ways for it. You could say, I really, really want that thing because I'm worth it and I deserve it and I'm amazing. Or you could go, well, I want it because I don't want that other person to have it.
Yeah.
That would be the negative ego. But if if looking at it as I'm amazing and I deserve it, to me, in my personal opinion, if that raises your energy about it and gets you super pumped about it and excited about it and makes you feel good, you're closer to that thing that you want.
Yeah.
And I think it's unreasonable in a certain respect to expect everybody all the time to not have an ego. It's just you can't do that.
Yeah.
No one can live that way. No one would have any aspirations if we didn't have ego. Ego is what motivates us. It's what inspires us. When we have an overabundance of it is when it becomes a problem. If we're checking the list twice just because we want to be able to cross stuff off a list or say that we have it, that's too much ego.
Right. Exactly. If you're looking at your vision board and you're like comparing it to your house, like that ain't the same.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my stuff?
Yeah.
That's that's the ego. Instead of going, I am so grateful. I am just so grateful for everything that I have.
Right.
Okay, there might be one thing on the list I didn't get. Okay. But look at all the stuff I have.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, don't bring your list to Christmas morning. like,
What a freaking statement.
don't
Woo! I wish I could
bring,
drop my mic right now.
right. I don't have the karaoke mics in here, or I
Oh,
would.
don't drop it.
But seriously, don't
Yeah.
bring your Christmas list to Christmas morning and start checking off things like, oh, watch, got it. Okay, cool. What's next? Like,
Okay, you know
no.
what? So I just have to say this because it's so funny. We have a family member that gets us gift cards every year. And so typically what we do is, or what I do is like after Christmas, I'll use the gift card to like get additional things and I'll let them know what I got. And it's just so funny because last Christmas, like probably, I don't know, by like 3 p.m. Christmas Day, I sort of did go down my list. And I kind of went, okay, what are the things I didn't get that I can now get with my gift card? But I think that's different. I think it's different. Yeah, I wasn't sitting there opening presents going, okay, got that.
Right.
Got that. Check that off. Okie dokie. All right. And then I didn't go, okay, well, you guys didn't get me this and this.
So Christmas sucks.
Right.
Right. It's all ruined.
Right.
The day is ruined.
Right.
The whole season, actually.
Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, I mean, honestly, that goes with any day and any list that you're making. You may make a list of 10 things you want to get done for the day.
Mm-hmm.
You only got 3 done. Well, you wasted your whole day.
I'll hit you with a bigger example.
Go for it.
We look around and go, oh, life is just freaking beating me up. Oh, life
Right.
sucks. Oh my God, I am just trudging through life. You sure about that?
You sure? You really?
And I'm gonna watch this back and hear myself say it to myself. Are you sure about that?
Because and I'll go to my favorite video, Mr. Steve Harvey. If you are sitting here, it means that you are 100% of a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have survived 100% of the time if you
Yeah.
are still sitting here. So awesome, amazing, wonderful job. If you are struggling, if you are having a challenging time, if you are having a hard time, if life sucks right now, reach out and ask for help. Like, don't be the ego and be like, no, I'm gonna do it myself.
Also, no one is motivated 100% of the time. I just want to make that clear. Like, the reason that we have motivational quotes or motivational videos is because we need to refill our motivational cup all the time.
Why do
We
you think
learn the same lesson over and over again. And the reason I say things like, oh, well, I'm going to watch this back and listen to it for myself is to point out to all of you that are watching that both of us still have to remind ourselves of stuff all the time.
I got my chart right here.
Yeah, I have a laminated one in my drawer.
Like, where am I today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is constantly learning lessons. Life is constantly having different experiences that challenge us in new ways so that we grow even more. But if anyone ever tells you they got it all figured out and they're done learning some lesson, Liar. They may not know that they're a liar. They may genuinely believe it. And listen, I've been there. I once said, I'm good. I don't have anxiety anymore. That was a lie.
Was it, or did the universe just go, really? Let's see about it.
No, I don't think the universe is vindictive. I think
Well,
that
I didn't think
I.
vindictive. Not vindictive.
Okay, I don't think the universe goes,
Sucking
oh, you
you.
think you're done? I'm going to give you, well, maybe a little bit. But is that just us doing it? Is that our
Well,
future self going, oh, my sweet summer child? Oh, but are you?
let's just try it for good measure.
Yeah,
Let's just
no, no, no.
see how strong you are.
I think maybe life goes, oh, really? Okay, well, let's try it out. Let's see. Let's see if you learned your lesson. So more from a loving place of, let's see if you did, not a, oh, did you? Did you really?
I'm going to not necessarily quote a movie, but just the scene from the movie of Why Him. Why do you think that what's his face jumps what's his face all the time?
Okay. Why do I think that Gustav jumps layered all the time?
Thank
Keep
you.
them ready, keep them sharp.
Yes. So why do you think the universe wants to test us on our triggers that we think that we've got all handled and
We
figured
are just
out?
dropping profound bombs today. Oh man, we're gonna.
Shoot.
Sorry, I shouldn't have used that word. We are just. It's just one after the other today.
I mean, seriously, we're Pink Panthering ourselves.
Life Pink Panthers us. Our higher selves, our future selves, Pink Panther us.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, and if you don't know what that means, so in in the movie, The Pink Panther, because I'm realizing that sounds really weird out of context. In the movie The Pink Panther, and then in the movie Why
Oh
Him,
my
which if you
god.
haven't seen Why Him, you got to go watch it. It's a great Christmas movie, not for children. But in the movie Pink Panther, originally, what's the main character's name?
Larry?
Jacques Cousteau.
Oh, no.
No, what is that? I don't know.
I do think it's is it Professor Invest I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, hold on. Please hold.
Anyway,
No, hold on. I gotta get the name. No, Pink Panther.
Inspector Clouseau.
Clouseau. I
Oh,
don't. Oh, I think what I talked about was an explorer.
yeah, Jacques Clouseau.
Yeah.
He's the
Okay.
one that goes underwater
So
and
he
yeah.
has this guy has his friend basically attack him at random times so that he stays sharp. He stays physically able. It's teaching him to pay attention to his surroundings, things like that. And so, if the life is hitting you with different challenges, life's Pink Panther in you.
Yeah. And it goes back to my other favorite quote, which is be the warrior in the garden, not the gardener in the war. Yeah. Because then you're ready, right? You're like, I'm planting a plant. Oh, ooh, bad guy. Boom. I'm going to go back to.
Was that the Austin Powers pseudo chop?
Yep, it was. And it's really good that I don't have my little blade thing up here because I would have brought that out. The dagger. I probably
We definitely would have gotten taken off the internet for that.
I would have dropped the monitors. Everything would have gone.
Oh my god, can you imagine you let it go and the monitor shatters? Oh lord. On that note,
Oh,
guys, make your list. Write out as detailed of a list as you want of all the things that you want out of life, out of the year, out of the month, out of Christmas, out of your day, and then put it away and don't look at it. Better yet, do what I do. Rip it up and throw it in the garbage. Burn it. Throw it down the toilet. Whatever you want to do.
or if you want to, fold it up, put
Stick
it
it in
under
your
your
pillow.
pillow,
Or in your
sleep on it.
pillowcase. True.
Right.
Or stick it in like a diary or a journal. And the point is, don't look back at it. Allow the universe to do its thing. Allow the universe to God to deliver things for you.
And
Stop
surprise
looking
you,
back.
delight and surprise you.
Yes. Stop
Because life
doing
is
it.
shockingly delightful. And just
You know
remember,
what's funny?
if you're tested, it's Pink Panther. What?
It's a life Pink Panther in you. I feel like learning that life is shockingly delightful is one of the hardest lessons to learn. Like, I feel like it's relatively easy to learn. It's relatively easy to learn grief. It's relatively easy to learn pain. It's relatively easy to learn all these things. But learning that life is shockingly delightful is very difficult because you actively have to constantly seek that out, but also trust enough to have those beautiful, wonderful, shockingly delightful things come in for you.
Mm-hmm. And you have to have faith that they're going to, that they're coming. Everything's coming. Everything is, and everything happens for you. Even the bad stuff that you think is bad is happening for you, is to motivate you or to keep you going on the conveyor belt of life,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's helping to move you forward or readjust you because you're on the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
You're with the wrong person, or you
In the wrong job, have the wrong friends, driving the wrong car.
making the wrong choices. It life is here for us. God, the universe. It's all an adventure, it's a lesson. Oh dear God, I'm going to say it. Life is like a box of chocolates. I mean, it is. So on that note, where
Where
can
can
they
we find you, Michelle? Miss Bumper Sticker Betty?
mokshagrace.com. At coming to a bumper sticker near you. We need to do that. I'll have to put my favorite one on there. Yeah, mokshagrace.com. You can find me anywhere on social media under Moksha Grace. And I have Moment of Presence on Thursday. Krista and I will be talking about.
Something special. The topic is 12 Days of Christmas, and we're gonna be
Oh, I found such a fun one this morning. Oh my God.
we're gonna be doing something with the 12 Days of Christmas. You're gonna want to tune into that, so tune in.
Yeah. And I have Odonata Community, which is a way for you to have weekly coaching in a group environment by yours truly. A lot of fun. And yeah, just get involved. If you need help, reach out. Book your compatibility call. We'll talk about what you need and what that looks like. Krista, where can they find you?
Well, real quick, this is how to book a compatibility call. mokshagrace.com/coaching. You can find me at wickedwisdomconsulting.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Or you can find me every Monday here on Shockingly Delightful.
And again, if you know someone that could really use some of what we talked about today, some of the bumper stickers, if they think they're being Pink Panthered in life and they need it explained to them, or law of attraction,
Tag them in the comments. Share it via Messenger or whatever, however you want to send it.
yeah, that's all you have to do. And spread the joy this season. Don't spread your yucky energy. Get yourself in a good place and bring that to the table.
Let's just crop that really long sentence and put that on a bumper sticker, and it'll just take up the whole bumper. I really thought you were going to rhyme, but I mean, that's a hard one to rhyme.
Now I'm gonna have to like go back and watch it and see how I can make it rhyme.
We said bring the joy this holiday season. Bring the joy. Yeah, I can't even. Anyway, see you guys next week and see you Thursday for Moment of Presence.
Bye.
Bye.